Don't panic. You're not having a midlife crisis. What's happening is you've realised you've got about as long left on the planet as you've already had, and you want to make the most of it, and that is a good thing. The thing is, where do you start? There is so much information out there, often conflicting, often confusing, and often complex. And what do you even type into Google? Fortunately, I'm here to help you out. I've read hundreds of thousands of words of books, research papers, and journals. I've also listened to thousands of hours of podcasts, and I've also done my own primary research. And essentially, this is what pretty much everybody says. Sleep is the fundamental foundation that everything else sits upon. If you don't give that your undivided focus, then what you eat and how much you exercise doesn't really matter. Likewise, you can't out-train a bad diet, so what you consume is your next priority. And finally, be inactive at your peril. Your movement today, or lack of it, will come back to bite you on your couch-ridden arse in 2 or 3 decades' time. Now, you may have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, this is Hester's hierarchy of midlife. The bee at the top isn't something that you do, it's the byproduct of what sits below and the outcome of your actions. But ultimately, it is whatever it is you want to be. Whether it's to be able to deal with stress better, be able to cope with life, be more patient with your kids, mentally strong, assertive, calmer, energized, a better partner, healthy when you're old, more confident, more productive, more creative, whatever it is you want to be, you can't just skip to the end. There are things that need to be in place and in the right order for you to be these things. Each foundation lying on the one below it to function. For example, you can't just be warmer. That's a goal. You have to gather firewood and you have to light a fire. And those are actions. So here are the foundations, and I've also collated some of the key actions that you can actually do and focus on making those habits. Anyone who's had kids can skip this bit. You already know how hard it is to function when you're sleep deprived. It's utterly devastating. Across the board, all of my research points to this being the absolute foundation. Getting a good night's sleep shouldn't be the exception, it needs to be the rule. There's a reason that all living creatures sleep. If it was unimportant, we would have evolved out of it. Us midlifers grew up in an era where 4 hours sleep was a badge of honour to be a success. Donald Trump was one of many that made such a claim. You can make of that what you will.
Yeah. Money never sleeps, pal.
We now know different. Quality sleep is the key that unlocks pretty much every door you're trying to open, but we'll skip the massive detail on the why for another video and get right to the top of the 3 actions for getting a good night's sleep. Make your bedroom a cave, cool and dark. Turn the lights in the house down or every other light off in the hour leading up to your bedtime. Make your bedroom as dark as you can and make it cool, around about 16 degrees. It's fine to have a nice warm duvet, a hot water bottle, or even wear pajamas if you don't like your partner very much. But the ambient temperature should be around about 16 degrees and dark. Get a regular bedtime going. However you work towards that, whatever you need to do to organise to do it, and keep it even during the weekends or your days off, because circadian rhythms are exactly that, they're rhythms. Oh, and when you wake up, get up and do something within the first 30 minutes. Don't just lie there. Finally, charge your mobile phone downstairs. Buy an alarm clock if you have to, but I cannot emphasize how beneficial this has been to me since I've been doing this. A huge topic, which I go into more here. Look online and you'll find most organisations' recommended daily allowance of protein is roughly 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. But we need to know the difference between recommended dietary allowance, RDA, and optimal dietary allowance, ODA. RDA is what you need to get inside yourself, and I quote, to prevent deficiency. The optimum amount is, well, the optimum amount. It's what we need to build the muscle we'll be relying on in our 80s. And the ODA figure, 2 grams per kilo of body weight, over double the RDA. You might need to supplement with some whey protein isolate, but you need to get the protein in. Cut back on, or ideally remove added sugars. I'm sure you know why, as it's a hot topic, but how about high blood pressure, inflammation, weight gain, diabetes, fatty liver disease, and an increased risk of heart attack and stroke for starters? 2 extra things here. It seems artificial sweeteners are just as bad an idea, and please, for the love of God, whilst you should cut back on or cut out added sugar, make sure you don't cut out everything else that's good and leave just sugar. like fruit juice, where virtually everything that benefits you has been taken out. Which brings me neatly on to eat more fruit and veg. We all know about 5 a day, but make sure only 2 are fruit. And actually try and make it 7 a day. In fact, if you want to be as healthy as you can to get the fiber we're all lacking and all the nutrients we need to thrive, then make it 30 different plants a week you're getting down your cake hole. In fact, stop calling it a cake hole. Call it a veg hole. Actually, don't. That sounds really, really wrong. So if you're just starting out, 60 to 90 minutes a week of somewhat hard exercise is what you should be aiming at. Running is perfect, walking just doesn't cut it. Got to get your heart rate up. I'd highly recommend Couch to 5K. Did a video on that recently. Do that for 6 to 8 weeks and then move on to the next thing. You can run, you can row, elliptical trainer, bike, whatever you like. 60 to 90 minutes to begin with, aiming to up that up to around about 4 hours a week. And if you're a bit more experienced, you should be aiming at 4 hours plus. There is no upper limit to how much of this you can do, but it's got to be in the right zone. It should be just below lactate threshold 2, or what we knowingly refer to as zone 2. You can break that down into individual, say, hour to 90 minute blocks. In my opinion, I like to get it all out the way. Sometimes I'll commute into work each week, or I might go out and do 4 hours with the club on the bike on the weekend. So this is the harder stuff. This is the stuff that Peter Attia brilliantly describes as running up the escalators that are broken with your luggage because you're late for a train or a plane. A good starting point for this would be to go out for a run, warm up nicely, and then do 10 1-minute efforts where you're running hard, and then active recovery, so walking very gently for 90 seconds in between. As we get older, we lose muscle. If we lose muscle, we lose stability, we can fall over, we can hurt ourselves. That'll probably be the end of us. So we need to get our muscle mass up at the age we're at right now. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to end up looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Believe me, you probably won't, but you need to lift, and you need to lift heavy. How you build that muscle is entirely up to you. It can be kettlebells, it can be old school weights, you can do whatever you like as long as you're building muscle mass. That goes hand in hand, of course, with your protein intake. One without the other is pointless in that regard. I tend to do 3 sessions a week. Now, at the minute, I'm learning how to do kettlebells properly. I'm going to 1 class a week where they're teaching me technique. I'm going to do that for 6 weeks, and I should be able to do these things at home properly. I also do core workouts, and I lift these old things too. I like to keep my body guessing, and so should you. There will be more science, research, facts and data on these things coming, but that is your hit list. If you can get to the end of 2024 with all these things in place, then you will have had a good one. In the description below, there's a link to a PDF of the hierarchy and a shortened list of all these actions. I have some experiments coming up in the next month that I think you'll find interesting, and this is our channel really, not mine. It's growing steadily, and if you look at the view count on this video right now, you'll see there are others out there like you and me. So leave a comment, perhaps tell us all what your B is. Writing it down is a bloody powerful thing. And make sure you read each other's comments below and give all of us your feedback on your ideas, experiences and worries, whatever they are. I feel like when I'm making these videos, like right now, I am talking to you, and I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation. I want to hear about you and from you, and I want to get to know you. So listen, until the next video, take good care of yourselves and those around you.